Susie Wiles has been talking to Chris Whipple from Vanity Fair since the Trump administration took office. Apparently, reportedly, Chris Whipple has talked to Susie Wiles after each big event has occurred with that the Trump administration has been a part of, and he's gotten her take and her opinion, talked to people around her in the West Wing, and took photographs of a lot of the Trump inner circle, and the profile has gone viral. And the reason that I'm laughing is because it's just a hit piece. It's just a straight up nasty, malicious, biased, partisan hit piece. They don't even really try to disguise that. It's just completely evident to anybody who sees even the cover photos of this piece. If I were President Trump, I'd probably find out who on his team, on the Trump administration, gave approval for this Vanity Fair piece, who let them have this inner access, who didn't give them veto power over some of these hideous photographs that they took. Like I said, malicious photographs. It's not just unflattering photography. It's deliberately trying to portray these people as looking disgusting, really, when they're not. They're just normal looking people like everybody else. And I would fire that person if I were President Trump. I would fire whoever let Vanity Fair do this, because you could call this an unforced error. All that being said, there's one part in this piece that is not getting a lot of play, and this is something that I actually find quite interesting. There's one of the photos, by the way, that I was talking about. Like, look at that picture of Susie Wiles. No one claims she's a runway model. Like, obviously she's not 20 years old. No one cares about that. But that is obviously a photograph that is deliberately intended to make her look psycho. Her eyes wide open like that, the angle, her eyebrows raised, like, the photographer did that deliberately, and it was a deliberate decision by the editorial team to try to get a photo like that and then to publish it. It wasn't an accident. This was done. And the same with Rubio. Look at this picture of Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is a very normal looking, however old he is, 40 or 50-year-old dad. And look, they make him look like he's dying of the plague here. That was intentional. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a moment that was a candid moment that was caught on camera that just happens to be a little unflattering. No, they did this on purpose. It was malicious because they're trying to undermine these people, especially the people who they think might have political careers after President Trump. They did this to Caroline Leavitt too, this really weird, close-up, unflattering portrait of her face. Caroline Leavitt obviously is a nice-looking person, and they are deliberately trying to make her look ugly. Why? Why are they doing that? Because, well, they're trying to be malicious. They're trying to drive a wedge between President Trump and his staff. And I know the president is not naive. He's not going to let that happen. And honestly, like I said, I know this is going viral on X, but really people should not be that upset about it. There's some, like, I don't want to call it morbid curiosity, but it's like, there is sort of a morbid curiosity when you see these ugly photos posted. Like, of course, we're going to look at it. It's also right before Christmas, and the stories are kind of, getting a little less by the day. But any attempt to undermine and downplay President Trump's achievements in office, I mean, you can criticize and say what you want to happen in the next 3 years, and I know we do that on a daily basis, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's a tired old tactic here. Again, my bigger question is, who okayed this interview? Like, really? Are you an idiot to give the mainstream media this opportunity to try to attack you? Whoever approved it should be fired. It's also interesting to me, if you look at the group photo in this article, the one, I think, who does it have in it? It has Stephen Miller in it. It has JD Vance. It has Caroline Leavitt. It has Susie Wiles. It has Marco Rubio. It is interesting to me that nobody in that photo said, this probably isn't a good idea. Like, who are we trusting here? Vanity Fair? Yeah, that's one of the photos, but there's another photo of them. It sort of looks like the Bush administration photo, a replica of that, sitting around a table. It's funny to me that none of these people, like, most of these people are people of good judgment, and no one said, probably not a good idea to be trusting Vanity Fair. But apparently they did not. This actually plays into my prediction of what's going to happen after the first of the year in the Trump administration, which I will relate to you, my prediction, because I think I'm right about this. Okay, 2020 prediction, or 2026 predictions, quickly. So one of my predictions for next year, and I think this will probably happen within the first 3 months, could be a little sooner, is I think we're going to see some significant turnover in the president's cabinet. After his first administration, when there was almost constant turnover, you got the feeling that there was a desire in this administration to have people stay for at least a year, not to have that constant turnover, to have a little more stability, if you will, within the staff, both at confirmation level, like secretary level, but also, lower staff. However, we are about to reach that year mark, and there are several members of his administration who I would predict are going to be on their way out in the first couple of months of 2026. The first person that I predict will be on their way out, this is not going to surprise you, but Attorney General Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi, of course, for all the reasons we've covered on this show, has been a liability to the Trump administration. She has not been a net positive. And in fact, she's wasted a good deal of the Trump administration. She's wasted 25%. A quarter of the Trump administration, and half of the time, if you worry that the Democrats are going to win the midterms next year, half of the time when Republicans control the presidency and the House and the Senate, she's wasted without any significant accomplishments. Her accomplishments are kind of the type that you would just expect. You're not going to get a pat on the back for doing the basic requirements of your job. And her accomplishments are kind of just at that level. And I think the president has come to recognize that. I think Pam Bondi will be on her way out before too long. I think Kristi Noem will be on her way out at DHS before too long as well, for similar reasons. A whole year has passed, and while Kristi Noem has done some good things, the deportations, and by the way, I'm aware that the deportations, the slowness of the deportations is not entirely the fault of the Trump administration, because we also have these essentially judicial insurrectionists as judges issuing these injunctions that they have no authority to issue to try to stymie the Trump administration. I get that. But we've seen a lot of media of Kristi Noem in full hair and makeup and battle rattle, kind of prancing around. And I don't think we're going to see much of that much longer. I think we're going to see turnover there. I don't know about Susie Wiles. I don't think that this Vanity Fair piece makes it more likely one way or the other. The chief of staff position is an extremely demanding position, and the chief of staff doesn't always last more than a year. I don't think it would be surprising if Susie Wiles didn't stay more than a year, but I don't think that this piece is like, okay, her announcement that she's leaving the White House. But the other two, I do think we will see before too long. Our movement is gaining ground. People around us are waking up. The mainstream media leftist narrative is cracking. At Blaze TV, we've built a home for some of the strongest, smartest voices in conservative media. When you subscribe to Blaze TV, you're not just watching content, you're supporting a movement. You're backing creators who think for themselves. It's everything that the networks won't show you, delivered on your terms on any device, anytime. And it starts at just $8 a month. BlazeTV.com/Liz, promo code Liz.